What's good, everyone? It's your boy Yadig, 4 Eyes, 2Gs here, and today we're here to talk about Cardi and a whole lot of red. Now, we have a lot to get to in this video because an insider, Nick Marlin, who hangs around with Cardi a lot and has designed for Cardi before, went on IG Live, and I've got the full 13-minute recording of this video that I don't think a lot of people have. I've seen some snippets out there and some short clips, but I've got the full thing and I want to break down exactly what he said in regards to a whole lot of red and its release. Let's get into it.
Cause I'm flexing on these hoes and I'm flexing in my show, yeah. Rockets on the clothes and my neck be on froze, yeah. Made another meal, I'm a ticket to the hills, yeah. $100 bills and my wrist be on chill, yeah. Cannot lie, all my bitches looking fly. All my brothers in the sky, and I'm asking why.
And first of all, guys, if you guys don't know, I'm currently giving away this unreleased Playboi Carti merch I did back in 2017. Super easy to enter. Go over to my IG at Yadig, like the post, tag 2 friends in the comments, and I do ship anywhere internationally and I pay for the shipping myself. Super easy to enter and it's a really nice design. Go get onto it if you want. Link in the description. Also, quick shout out to my G 2900 times 2 who actually sent me the full video right here. As I said, I haven't seen the full video posted anywhere, so big shout out to him for being the plug. Also, shout out to 29. He's someone I saw in the comments of the live and he's another cool Cardi page. But let's get onto it. So firstly, for some context on Nick Marlin, because some of you guys might not know who he is. So he's kind of like a fashion personality in the Instagram community, I guess, but more so than that, he also designs, and he said in the video himself he designs for Cardi a lot, and he's someone just like your John Rosses, your Cohen Frost, etc, who's super plugged into the youth culture community. He's backstage with Cardi, and he's also got all these pics with all these rappers and stuff like that all over his IG. He's someone who's clearly connected, as you can see right here. He's with the drip god himself, Gunna, Ian Connor, etc. So he's someone who's really connected, and he's someone who's very close to Cardi's camp. As you can see right here, he can be seen rocking the Opium merch, which I believe he may have designed himself. And of course, as we know, Opium is like Cardi's label or Cardi's collective right now, which Nick seems to be doing designs for. Okay, so that's kind of like the background and the context before we get to this video, which was super important to mention. Now, as I said, this video right here is 13 and 48 minutes long, and I'm not going to sit here and play the whole thing or anything like that because there's only short spaces of the video that relate to Cardi. I've kind of gone through and extracted the most important information in my opinion, and I'm going to break it down, give my analysis on it point by point. And it's also important to say, although he's someone who is definitely close to Cardi, please take this all with a grain of salt. I'm not saying this is 100% confirmed information, but for anyone who's been following Cardi for years, you know Cardi kind of uses people around him to kind of spread information because he doesn't like to talk himself. Throughout the early days, it was Ian Connor. Throughout the Self-Charted era, it was Gunna Stole, and recently we've been seeing him do it with people like Ronnie Lee, Capo, etc. So this is unsurprising, especially coming from a long-term Playboi Carti stan like myself. But let's get into it. Okay, so the first kind of big thing that he said was that Cardi has the green light to drop from Interscope basically whenever he wants, and has had the green light since basically At Me, but Cardi just doesn't want to drop right now. And really, this is unsurprising. I've been saying this for a while now. Interscope at this point have spent so much money and so much time with this album that they just want to kind of get the return on their investment. They just want to kind of recoup that money that they've invested from Cardi. Everybody with 2 eyes knows that Cardi's going to do well, basically no matter what. We as Playboi Carti fans just have this knack to continue supporting him and create this crazy community around him that even though songs like At Me weren't exactly amazing and didn't exactly perform to such a high caliber level, they still did very well, and we support him very heavily. We're gonna buy the albums, we're gonna buy the merch, we're gonna run up them streaming numbers, so they know they're gonna make money off Cardi whatever he drops whenever he drops it. So they want to just speed up that process because by this time they basically wasted 2 years on this album. But as you know, in the past, Cardi has taken very long to release albums, but that's only the label side. At the end of the day, as Nick said in the video, it's up to Cardi to drop whenever he wants to. And if you guys remember the Self-Titled era, the original first project from Cardi was announced by Ian Connor all the way back in early 2015. Then that Cash Cardi mixtape eventually turned into Self-Titled, which released in April of 2017. So Cardi has no qualms taking long with projects at all. And Nick also said that he's stopping people around him from dropping as well, people who were alleged to be on his label, someone like Capo. And again, this really isn't surprising, to be honest, because at the end of the day, if Cardi's at the head of the label and is kind of micromanaging these artists and their drops around when he drops, he has that leverage and he probably has a vision for how he wants these artists to be rolled out. Plus, if they drop after a whole lot of red, they're probably going to have more buzz because Cardi's going to be going crazy in regards to attention right there. Next thing is said, which is really interesting, is that no more singles. Next drop will be the album. Now, we know in the past, Cardi isn't really a singles type of artist. We know before Self-Titled there was Woke Up Like This, Looking, but those are only released a month or so before the project. It's not like there was 6 months in between the singles and the album that we see for certain rollouts. And then secondly, for Dilete, we only got one single before the album, which was Love Hurts, and that was released a week before the album dropped. Sure, there was a whole panic drop around the situation, but we know Cardi isn't generally the stereotypical huge single lead-in artist that other artists are. Okay, moving on, and this is kind of like the big point right here. He says that Cardi is waiting for the right environment, Nick's words, not mine, to drop the album. AKA, he basically says that Cardi wants to do a full US tour with the release of the album because he makes music to be performed live, and he thinks right now with the whole corona situation, it's just not a good environment to drop the album in. Now, this isn't really surprising at all. We know Cardi always goes on tour straight after his albums, and plus on top of this, he's right, his music is made to be played live. Now, the only issue with this is, in regards to its release, is that when are we going to realistically be able to see a full US tour from an artist? Sure, certain people like Yachty or other artists are doing these smaller dates and these smaller venues and these one-off locations, or maybe a couple of them, but realistically, come on, the COVID situation is still going crazy right now. As it says right here, music festivals may not be able to restart until September 2021, says one US public health expert. Quote, large gatherings, conferences, concerts, sporting events, when people say they're going to reschedule this conference or graduation event for October 2020, I have no idea how they think that's a plausible possibility. I think those things will be the last to return. Realistically, we're thinking fall 2021 at the earliest. Also guys, before we move on to that, a shameless plug for my merch. If you guys don't know, I've got a few merch pieces currently up on my Big Cartel for purchase. As you can see, we've got some Travis, some Uzi, some Cardi merch pieces, as well as my Own Your Dig merch piece. If you guys want to cop, feel free, link in the description. I do ship anywhere internationally, and I'm still shipping out during these COVID periods. But let's get back to the video. Now again, take this with a grain of salt. We don't know 100%. Everything is kind of up in the air right now in regards to tours and whatnot. But my thinking is, sure, Cardi may be able to do a date or two, or a date in this location and a small little tour run. But in terms of like a big traditional tour that he's done in the past with all these dates back to back to back, etc., I think just like that article says, it's going to be a long wait. It's not like he's going to be able to do it at the end of this year or something. We've basically seen no artists come out and announce tours that big. So yeah, that's kind of interesting to think about. And I wonder if that article is right and it's realistically going to be September, October next year that we're going to be able to actually go on tours, and it looks like things are really going to get back to normal within the entertainment industry. Is Cardi willing to wait that long? That's a question on my mind right now for sure. And in addition to this, we also saw Ken Carson tweet this not too long ago, which kind of suggested the same thing. And of course, Ken Carson is someone who hangs around Cardi and is within Cardi's camp a lot during this whole Lot of Red era. So yeah, again, I've kind of said my piece about that tour situation. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below. Do you think Cardi will be able to drop the album if he doesn't go on tour? How long before do you think he'll be able to go on tour? Let us know in the comments. And Nick also went on to say that the original version of the album Whole Lotta Red leaked, which I'm guessing would have been songs like Cancun, Molly, etc. And if that didn't happen, we would have already gotten the album. Plus, he specifically said 8 other tracks we haven't heard would have been with that album. Now again, that really doesn't surprise me, and fans have kind of speculated this a lot, that the original version of the album kind of got completely leaked and kind of got completely ruined because of the amount of leaks that were happening. And it's pretty obvious that by now, if it wasn't for the absurd amount of leaks, we would have gotten some form of a project, or at least more music from Cardi. That's pretty safe to say, but it's interesting to hear someone within his camp acknowledge it. And lastly, one thing that I found super interesting was he specifically said that there's going to be no deluxe version, addressing questions from people in the chat about leaks being included as kind of bonus tracks or a deluxe version on the album. Now, although I've advocated for the idea of a deluxe version definitely being a good thing for Cardi and being a smart idea in terms of generating hype, generating attention, and also it's probably a good money decision because all those original leaks would get so many streams if they're uploaded officially on Spotify. Let's be honest, in terms of keeping that image of Cardi and that aesthetic of Cardi and the whole Lotta Red rollout, it doesn't really align with Cardi's image up until this point. Imagine just going on Spotify and you see a Whole Lotta Red the album, and then you see a deluxe version with all the leaks. It kind of takes away from it a little bit. And again, with how meticulous Cardi is with his image and his rollout, it's something that I feel he would think would kind of tarnish the album a little bit. Plus, then you open yourself up to so much criticism. We've seen people like Uzi drop the deluxe version with a lot of the original songs on it, as well as a normal version, and then all we've gotten since then are complaints about the original or complaints about the deluxe version, and people constantly comparing the two because he included the deluxe version. And that's probably going to happen if Cardi decides to release a deluxe version as well. So yeah, definitely a lot of interesting information in regards to the whole behind the scenes working of the Cardi camp right now. If there's one thing I hate about the music industry, it's the fact that artists can just be quiet and share basically no information with with their fans, and we basically have no actual information into what goes on behind the scenes. But seeing leaks like this and information kind of come out there from people actually within the camps is always super interesting to me as someone who kind of loves the behind the scenes dealings. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments below. What you think about the release being delayed because of the tours? What do you think about the deluxe version? What do you think about no singles? Let me know. Also, a reminder about my giveaway, guys. Again, I'm giving away this Playboi Carti merch piece completely for free. I pay for the shipping myself anywhere internationally. Again, just go over to my Instagram @YourDig, like the post, tag 2 friends in the comments. Super simple to enter, and you basically got a chance to win, no strings attached. Link in the description to check it out. Also, if you haven't, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that good YouTube stuff. You guys know what to do, and there are more videos of mine on screen right now. Make sure to check them out if you haven't.